Hello everyone, it's been quite a while since we've shared our time together here on the Iancast. Welcome. I missed last week due to no reason at all, but here we are now at the Christmas special. To make it up for the missed episode, I have a special gift to you all, in which this is the Christmas special, in which fellows named Chris, or fellas if you're feminine, have given me many sound effects to say Christmas themed, because all of you always want Mas of Chris. In other news, this episode is sponsored by the Spirit of Giving, making sure that everyone gets what they want or don't want. I myself, yesterday for Christmas, received several gifts, including gold, myrrh, and a Blu-ray copy of Young Frankenstein. Now that we have that covered, I want all of you to make sure to gift us with the option of commenting with your own ideas for sound effects, and let's get started with our first sound. Alright everyone, let's go ahead and begin with our first sound, provided to me by Chris. And Chris has given me the sound of a balloon flying around a room losing air. Let's go ahead and begin. And that was the sound of a balloon flying around a room losing air. Thank you, Chris. Our next sound is from Chris, and he has given me the sound of the halls being decked. Alright, let's begin. Pow! Right in the kisser! And that was the sound of the halls being decked. Alright, the next sound is from Chris, and Chris has given me the sound of pizza sizzling. Let's go ahead and begin with this steamy Christmas food. And that was the sound of pizza sizzling. Thank you, Chris. After that suggestion from Chris, we have a suggestion from Chris, who has given me the sound of an icicle falling onto a memory foam mattress. Alright, let's begin. And that was the sound of an icicle falling onto a memory foam mattress. Thanks for the cool suggestion, Chris. After that one, we have Chris, who has given me the sound Santa makes after he takes a sip of after he takes a sip of Dr. Pepper. Nothing like a pepper. Nice callback, Chris. Let's begin. Oh, it's spicy. And that was the sound Santa makes after taking a sip of Dr. Pepper. Nothing like a pepper. Alright, thank you, Chris. Now Chris has suggested the sound of a snowman melting. How morbid. Let's go ahead and start. Help me! It's so warm! And that was the sound of a snowman melting. Thanks, Chris. Alright. After Chris's suggestion, we have Chris. And Chris has provided the sound of a pin dropping. Now you have to be quiet, or you won't hear this one. Alright, let's begin. And that was the sound of a pin dropping. I hope you heard that. It was very quiet. Okay. Next, from Chris, we have The sound of a crab. Alright, let's go ahead and begin. And that was the sound of a crab. Thank you, Chris. Alright, up next we have Chris. And Chris has provided me with the sound a microwave makes. Alright, let's go ahead and set that for several seconds and begin. And that was the sound a microwave makes. Thank you, Chris. Now, we have Chris, who has suggested the sound of slipping on a banana peel. Let's go ahead and begin. And that was the sound of slipping on a banana peel. Thank you, Chris. After Chris's suggestion, we now have the sound provided by Chris. And Chris has given me the sound a whoopee cushion makes, sorry. Sorry, childhood memories, very bad ones. Let's begin. And that was the sound a whoopee cushion makes. Thank you for that traumatic situation, Chris. And now, we have the sound of a jack-in-a-box. Or more specifically, the sound a jack-in-a-box makes. Let's go ahead and start. Ah! And that was the sound a jack-in-a-box makes. Thank you, Chris. It's time for the mid-episode break, where it is not in the actual middle of the episode. Right now, we have a sound suggested by Ian, which is the sound of an advertisement by the Spirit of Giving. And this advertisement says, "Buy gifts for your friends. Christmas may be over, but now it is never not the time to give gifts. They might still want something, especially if you gave them socks, because socks are pretty lame unless they have something cool on them. Go ahead and shop for them, and participate in capitalism." Thank you. That was a sound suggested by Ian. Now back to the normally scheduled programming. Alright, now Chris has submitted the sound of a soft serve machine. I assume this is a soft serve ice cream and not some kind of soft serve tennis machine or something like that. Let's go ahead and begin. And that was the sound of a soft serve machine, hopefully ice cream. Thank you, Chris. Up next, we have Chris, who has submitted the sound of silly string being shot at a turtle. I'm not quite sure how to include the turtle in this silly situation. But let's go ahead and begin. And that was the sound of silly string being shot at a turtle. I apologize about the laughter at the end. We had to pause recording for a brief moment to fire our intern Chris, who laughed at me making a sound. Who laughs at these? I put in my hard work, making the most realistic sounds possible, and he has the nerve, the gall, to laugh at. Oh no, it's Christmas, and I fired him the day after Christmas. Good news, the Spirit of Giving is back, and he is ready to rehire Chris the intern. Chris the intern, if you're listening to this, feel free to come back at any time. Just no more laughing. Alright, up next, we have the sound of glass breaking. This one has been submitted by Chris. Let's go ahead and begin. And that was the sound of glass breaking. Thank you, Chris. Alright, after the sound of glass breaking, we now have a new sound submitted by Chris, which is the sound of a police siren that's running out of a battery. Let's go ahead and give that one a try. Let's begin. And that was the sound of a police siren running out of battery. Thank you, Chris. Alright, the next sound has been submitted by Chris, and this is the sound of a record scratch, a highly abusable sound in many animated television shows. Let's go ahead and begin. And that was the sound of a record scratch. Thank you for giving me that one, Chris. Now, after the sound of that abrupt pause due to a record scratch, funny joke, we now have the sound of Hulk turning back into Bruce Banner. This one has been submitted by Chris, who apparently is a fan of comic books. I hope you got comic books for Christmas, Chris. Let's go ahead and begin. And that was the sound of the Hulk turning back into Bruce Banner. Thank you, Chris. And now for the very special final sound, which I still have no idea what it will be, is the sound of one of those inflated guys at the car dealership. The sound of one of those inflated guys at the car dealership. I assume this one, also submitted by Chris, he's referring to those wacky, inflatable, waving, arm flailing tube men. But anyway, I realize also this is not the last one, as I can't count. But alright, let's go ahead and begin this second to last sound. And that was the sound of one of those inflated guys at a car dealership. Thank you, Chris. And now for the real, super duper, ultra mega, real final last one, because I can count this time. Just needed a couple minutes of practice. Let's see what this one is. And it is the sound of frying chicken. Alright, let's begin. And that was the sound of frying chicken. Thank you, Chris. Make sure to fire the intern again. Alright, and that will do it for this episode of the Iancast. I hope you all have enjoyed this very special Christmas or Mass of Chris special. All these suggestions have been given by Chris, and I had no idea what any of them were beforehand, if you could not tell. Once again, this episode was sponsored by the Spirit of Giving. Make sure you gave gifts to friends, otherwise the spirit will be there to haunt you. And now to finish this episode off, we will begin, or we'll finish, with my rendition of the theme song from one of those Christmas specials that airs on ABC Network every single year. I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas as well as other holidays. Have a good New Year's in the future as well. Let's begin.